We're going to rely on everything that China says to a news outlet.
Relying on what Trump says?
Listen,
why are you guys on China's side
I
in
don't
this? It's insane.
How do you not trust China but trust Donald Trump? It's planet Earth we're talking about. Yes, very much.
I think that's really sad that you trust our greatest adversary more than the president of the United States, who was elected by over 80 million of your fellow Americans.
What's happening, everybody? A new contender has been rising the ranks of sane voices at CNN. Batya Ungar-Sargon, deputy opinion editor at Newsweek, never fails to give unemotional, fact-based, articulate, and well-thought-out responses to the flat-out lies of the CNN minions. Yesterday, Batya Ungar-Sargon clarified all of Donald Trump's accomplishments in his first 100 days that the rest of the panel ignored. Anyway, let's watch Batya Ungar-Sargon dominate a panel of CNN Democrat operatives with ease. Let's go.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's very different from 20%. And it throws the world into a lot of chaos. And I think people are starting to push back on that hard.
So he did run on decoupling from China. This was something that came up at every single rally. He talked a lot about the need to do what I think all of us can agree on, which is end this toxic relationship. On the housing, there are 60 major markets in America that did see prices fall. You're right that the average went up, did not, but the prices fell in 60 major markets. And Zillow projects that by next March, prices will fall by 1.7%. And I want to just make a point about inflation. We talk about inflation.
I'm not sure that's the defense that you think it is. If prices are falling in the housing market, I'm not sure that is a good thing.
We want to get more Americans into homes. But I just want to make a quick point about inflation.
There's ways to do that.
We act like, inflation of all things are equal, and they are not equal. It is not the same if a person who can afford a new iPhone every year has to pay $3,000 for it instead of $1,500, as it is if
double the price?
As it is if a working class person can't afford gas and food. Those are not the same.
That's true.
We cannot measure those
that
as the same.
is true, but
that's not a
Okay,
priority
hold
for
on.
this president.
It is true that the cost of an iPhone is maybe not as important as the cost of gas and food, but the cost of food is not going down either.
Right. But the cost of gas is going down. The cost of gas has gone down. But I'm just saying we have to measure these things in a way that reflects the goals of this president, which is to improve the lives of working class people.
But if we have tariffs on China, how am I going to be able to afford to buy all those Trump Bibles? I buy them in bulk, and I'm not even going to be able to afford one at this point.
You triple in price. Democrats and Republicans, including the prior administration, agreed on taking on China. That's why they kept Trump's first term China tariffs in place. But speaking of China, Donald Trump keeps saying that he is negotiating with China. He said it again when he was asked by a reporter today.
Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China. And so I think you have, Jeff, as usual, I think you have your reporting wrong.
As usual. Well, the reporting was right. I mean, you can disagree with what the reporting was right, that China said that.
Yeah, China said
that. That part we know.
Trade negotiations.
And by the way, Dan, people in China did have a meeting today. That is completely factual.
Look, we don't know if China's lying or not, but I'm just saying that there is no doubt that there is a different story coming out of China.
They said that they are not talking to the Trump administration.
All of a sudden, we're going to rely on everything that China says to a news outlet.
Relying on what Trump says?
Listen,
why are you guys on China's side in this? It's insane.
How do you not trust China but trust Donald Trump? It's planet Earth we're talking about. Yes, very much.
I think that's really sad that you trust our greatest adversary more than the president of the United States, who was elected by over 80 million of your fellow Americans.
The majority of people who showed up to vote voted against him in 2016, 2020, and 2024. There's no mandate to speak of.
It's that loser, aging rock star looking guy that won't tighten his tie. He said that there's no mandate for Donald Trump. Someone else, like Cory Booker maybe, I don't know, tried this garbage in a previous video of mine, and a couple of people in the comments section, because they're not insane, said, what the hell are they talking about? Talking about the argument that Donald Trump doesn't have a mandate. So to clarify, if anyone's confused what they're trying to say, they're saying that if you take all of Kamala's votes and add them to all the votes cast for someone other than Trump or Kamala, that will equal more than the votes for Trump. This is your brain on copium, gang. Thought I'd clarify that for anybody who was confused by that ridiculous argument. Anyway, let's get back to it.
I don't trust China, but there is no reason.
You dispute that he won the election?
No, I tell you that the majority of folks who showed up to vote in all 3 elections voted against him. He never cracked 50%.
Cumulatively?
He never cracked 50%. He has no mandate.
You can say that
whatsoever.
about a lot of presidents.
To give preference to China
No, because
over the president
it is
of the United
not.
Say that about Bill Clinton.
Why should I believe that Donald Trump is telling the truth about anything at this point? How can our allies believe it? Who's going to enter into a deal with us after pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal, pulling out of Paris Accord? After
countries
this,
are waiting to
we
do
can't even get
just
tourists
that.
to come anymore. People are deciding, you know what? This year I'll try North Korea. Tourists aren't coming here anymore. Nobody wants to be in business with us because of this. But it's not popular, and he's not.
One state out of 50.
But what happens? Let me pose this. What happens if in 3 months from now, most of the tariffs have been either reduced or eliminated, right? And Trump comes out and he declares success and he says, I've made deals with this person and this person and this person. And most of the tariffs are now gone, except that there is a more even relationship. Is that a win?
Of course
does Trump,
it is, right?
Does Trump?
He becomes the most consequential president of the right.
Because look, Wall Street. If you look at what's happening on Wall Street right now, it looks like Wall Street is starting to believe that that is a likely outcome. That the outcome will be.
If the tariffs are good, why are they dropping?
No, that the tariffs are not good.
Right, I'm
that
saying.
the Wall Street is viewing it as tariffs bad, but now it appears that there are deals being
your
made.
Your premise is that the tariffs will pay off.
Well, no, will go away in large part, but that he will have made some better.
Why will they go away?
Because they're terrible. Because everyone agrees.
So he'll drop them because they're terrible.
Yes.
And
And he'll
but
drop them
the
because
other
they're
countries,
terrible.
no, but
And other countries will.
Dan's point is not that we're just going to drop them. That
Right,
the other countries
right.
are going to drop them against us as well, and there's going to be more of an equal playing
But
field.
isn't there a risk in all of this that by the time Trump gets around to dropping these tariffs, it would have been too late? That if the economy is
90
on
days
an
he closed
economic razor's edge between where we are right now and stagflation or a recession, that they're not going to wait 90 days for businesses to make decisions to pull back, which is what I was going to say to you in your response to what you're saying, which I get it, right? But the pullback that is going to hurt Americans the most is when companies, seeing lower demand because of higher prices and uncertainty, start cutting jobs.
Correct.
And then instead of, can I afford that F-150? Can I afford groceries? Do I have a job is the question that a lot of Americans
don't
are
forget
I
the
agree
tourism
with
as
you.
well.
I think that that's a really important thing for us to keep our eye on. But right now, he already has 3 deals almost completely in place. India, South Korea, and Vietnam. India and Vietnam have already agreed to put tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminum. This is a huge win for our market.
but
So
they
it's
don't even have
already
MOUs
working.
yet, so,
and everyone's
let's
acting like because it hasn't worked yet, therefore it'll never work.
It's 2 weeks.
But also, no one has a plan for doing, again, what we all agree we want to
I actually
do.
disagree with that
plan?
because I do think that the radical agreement that actually has been in place.
Not an honest man.
Here's the thing. Here's what I will say about this. I don't think we know. I don't think we know if Trump is telling the truth. I don't think we know if China's telling the truth.
Maybe the smartest words that Abby Phillip has ever uttered, so maybe the only smart words she's ever uttered, are, I don't think we know. That should be what everyone on your panel should say about 90% of the topics you discuss every night, because you don't know. Shoot, your ratings would probably go up. You can't do any worse than you already are. So our unbiased moderator, Abby, said, well, we know that getting our fiscal house in order isn't going to be done. We do. I mean, do you think they're just stopping looking for waste, fraud, and abuse? There's more to come. Don't worry. The most annoying on this panel, though, I think was the guy that looked like all he was missing was like a piano key tie. Couldn't be bothered to button his top button and show an ounce of professionalism. But you could tell when tariffs came up, he didn't know what the hell was going on. He was asking the dumbest questions. He was like, who's going to enter into a deal with us? Every country on the planet right now except China. What's your point? He didn't have a clue what was going on. See, that's why I like Batya. She screamed what I scream at the television every time I have one of these stupid news channels on. Why are you guys on China's side? And that big lady across the table was like, that's absurd. It is. Your entire network is dedicated to promoting ideologies and creating false narratives intended to destroy Western civilization. You think I'm being dramatic? Watch this program, Newsnight with Abby Phillip, for a week straight and see for yourself. You see, these people hate Trump so much that when given a choice, you saw it there, between the president of their own country and the supreme leader of our biggest enemy, without even thinking about it, their assumption is that Trump is lying. You have to have something mentally wrong with you if when they played that little clip of Trump talking, you heard anything other than we're in talks with China. The clip wouldn't even have been on my radar if I saw it. It's just the president answering a question. It's like they have a bucket of clips at CNN of Trump just making a random statement, and they reach in the bucket every morning and say, all right, here's our Trump is lying clip for the day. It's laughable yet infuriating at the same time. Man, I feel so bad for anyone that's sucked into this BS. And when they were still talking about tariffs, that other guy said, if the tariffs go away and Trump gets them to where it's fair, is that a win? Like, are you? It's like the biggest win of any president that I can remember. And he did it all while you all have lambasted him unfairly and rooted against his success and a better future for all Americans. Not to mention, how can any of them argue that Trump and his administration have been nothing but transparent? So what do you guys think of Batya Ungar-Sargon? I plan to feature her in videos moving forward, so please let me know what you thought of her. I mean, if there's an overwhelming consensus the other way, then certainly want to show you guys what you want to see, but let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like watching videos of sane conservatives explaining reality to a bunch of morons, then click on one of the videos that's about to pop up on your screen. Otherwise, as always, I've got the best viewers on the planet. Thank you so much for taking a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. Never forget, Jesus loves you. See you guys.